I woke up on a Monday morning and I couldn't feel my toes. They were numb, and I shrugged it off. The numb feeling progressed up my feet, into my legs, and it just kept progressing, ascending. On Tuesday evening, the day after, so day 2 of my symptoms, we did make a trip to the ER. I was given a little mental check by the doctor there, and I was told I had anxiety and sent home with a sedative. The next day was Wednesday, and I woke up feeling unwell and weak, and I had slurred speech. So I thought I was having a stroke. My husband called an ambulance, and again, I was told it was most likely anxiety, and I was happy to hear that. I didn't want to make another trip to the hospital, but by Wednesday evening, I found I was having trouble breathing, and I started to panic, and my husband called an ambulance again, and I was rushed to the hospital, and I spent some time in the ER, so some tests were done on me, and that's the last thing I remember. Then I woke up in ICU, where I was completely paralyzed on a ventilator. Initially, the doctors thought I had a brain tumor because they couldn't believe that GBS would be so intense. I was in shock, but I was also heavily sedated. I thought maybe I'd get better the next day and go home. I really didn't know what to think. So I was diagnosed with the variant of GBS called acute motor sensory axonal neuropathy, and I'm laying there hearing this, and in a way I was glad, I was happy and relieved that this thing had a name, but I was kind of also scared that if this had a name, how bad is it? So I spent, in the medical hospital, I spent about 5 months, and then I was moved to a rehab hospital for 2 months. I left the rehab hospital with a walker, still in a lot of pain, but still I was able to leave the hospital with a walker and come home. I was signed up for outpatient rehab at a local hospital, and I worked with neuro rehab with a physiotherapist and an occupational therapist. And they spent several weeks working with me to help improve my balance and to give me more strength. And they gave me exercises for home as well. Unfortunately, hospitals are underfunded, and we felt that. I did receive physio care on a daily basis in the ICU. And when I was moved out of ICU, when I was off the ventilator and moved onto a main floor, I received a few minutes of physio per day. So unfortunately, we were forced to hire a physiotherapist to come into the hospital and work with me a little bit more. The hardest part of going through GBS was physically the pain. It's nonstop. There's no escaping it. There's no way to take a break from it. Even though in the hospital I was given a lot of medication to help ease the pain, nonetheless the pain was always there, and it was relentless, and it was very discouraging. To be in the hospital, to feel useless, to feel so dependent on others, to feel vulnerable, and that was hard for me. Because at home, I was the one that took care of everybody else. And now I'm in the hospital and everybody's taking care of me. Without the support team from the outside and without, my husband and my older son, it would have been very difficult. I think we would have been forced to hire somebody to come in full time. Having GBS has definitely changed some of my relationships. It strengthens some of the relationships I had with friends, especially friends who have been diagnosed with diseases. They feel like they can identify with me now, and I can identify with them, even though they're going through a different type of illness, that we kind of have this solidarity. When I was in the hospital, my husband met a man who was diagnosed with CIDP, and he pointed him to a support group. And my husband went to the support group while I was still in the hospital, and he got a lot of support. And one lady did come to visit me a few times in the hospital who was recovering from GBS, and I was glad for her visits, and to this day we're still good friends. One good thing that has come out of me having GBS is that I'm able to be a better support to others who are suffering, especially for those that have gone through the same disease that I've gone through. I'm also more compassionate to pain, and it's given me a greater understanding into the medical field and into this actual disease itself. My husband and I do visit patients in the hospital who have been diagnosed with GBS to let them know, you know, I've been through it, I'm walking again, and you're not alone. And I can't tell you what tomorrow's going to bring, but each day you're going to get better. And it's very slow and it's gradual, but there is hope at the end. Be aware, we are rare, please share.